Hello Internet, this is BoneCarlos coming to you live from GSL Whirlwind to bring you another StarCraft 2 commentary. Today the players are going to be MadEoin spawning as the Teal Protoss. His opponent is going to be SePTiCDank spawning as the Orange Terran. I saw depression down there. Zergiest map of them all. Now, I have never personally played this map since this is a GSL map, but let's go ahead and just take a look around. We see a normal natural expansion with a wide entrance to the high ground and a little neutral supply depot just to make sure there aren't any cheeky shenanigans. There is one actually at the bottom of the ramp to your main. Looks like it is a 4-player map since there are neutral supply depots across all 4 spots. So I'm interested to see exactly what these players have in store. I do believe the Protoss player MadEoin is Diamond, while SePTiCDank is a Masters level player. So we're going to see semi-high level play out of both of these guys. And taking a look at the production tab, we don't see anything too crazy going on. Let's see, trying to do PvP command center first. And yeah, so if SePTiCDank does go command center first, it's actually very slightly vulnerable to about, I would say, a 6-7-8 minute pressure by the Protoss player, especially if he can actually do that while fast expanding himself. I believe Parting is the one that made this fairly popular, and one that I semi-enjoy with a few tweaks here and there. I have found myself to be slightly successful, slightly not, and this is expanding very early around the 17-minute mark and then hitting your opponent with, I would say, 6-7 sentries and 6-7 gate at around the 8-9 minute mark, basically before your opponent, the Terran player, gets any sort of medevac up and running. So you really just got to scat around, and Aeon is definitely seeing this. I mean, the command center is down. There is no Vespin Geyser being put down, so with this in mind and him going command center first, I expect to see a very late medevac, and it's fairly susceptible, especially to the build order that I was talking about earlier. But MadEoin isn't really doing that just yet. I mean, it's very obvious he's already putting out that Zealot with the Parting build, quote-unquote, style that I was talking about earlier. You just want to focus on building gas-heavy units and having double geysers very quickly. And SePTiCDank said, OMG, that bad field. Looks like the complete wall off did succeed, and the barracks is going to be completed in a few seconds, and almost had that SCV taken down, but a quick switcheroo at the barracks, and this probe really doesn't have anything else to do at the moment. Still, SePTiCDank is continually scouting around, seeing exactly what's going on, and it looks like it's a basic build order from MadEoin, and he still hasn't put down a second gateway. I'm not sure exactly what he's saving that for. It looks like he might be saving it for a robotics facility, but I doubt it since he doesn't have that second assimilator up and running, so he's more than likely going to go into straight 3 to 4 gate, but he isn't chrono boosting out that warp gate tech, so looks like he is saving up his minerals. He actually is going to go ahead and fast expand himself, or putting down nothing else too crazy. SePTiCDank still hasn't have any tech structures, mainly because he doesn't have any refineries. A couple of mules do go down, and finally a couple more barracks are being put down. That command center is going to go ahead and be swapped over to the natural expansion, while it looks like a bunker is being put down on the high ground with that wide choke area. MadEoin is just hanging around, making sure that nothing is too crazy, and it looks like he's actually gearing up to take his 3rd expansion fairly quickly. So a 3rd expansion before the 6-minute mark. Way to go. He actually pulled all his probes off of that assimilator to start mining gas. So a little bit of an interesting play, and I hope it pays off for him, especially since I doubt SePTiCDank is going to be producing any kind of attacking units anytime soon, really. I mean, he does have those 3 bunk barracks, but mostly these are gonna be used for the later parts of the game. Finally does have both refineries up and running with max SCVs on them, while over here in his expansion, no refineries just yet, and putting down a 2nd bunker, so being very defensive, very turtle-ish as it were, while putting down a third refinery over at his natural expansion. And I do not think SePTiCDank even knows about the expansion. All he sees is this. So if he isn't careful with his scouting or with his scans, it will backfire on him very, very easily. I mean, once this Terran economy gets up and running, gets gets up and geared up, it would be pretty tough to stop. And it looks like MadEoin is finally putting down those mass gateways with the handy dandy Artosis pylon powering up all of them. So 6 gateways are going to be produced. Well, not that many probes on the field of play. 29, 30 probes finally gearing up with that probe production. He isn't supply blocked in the least, so compared to the 34 SCVs, yeah, it's a bit low for MadEoin, for my liking anyway. And he's getting a Twilight Council down more than likely for Blink Play, for Charge, or going into High Templar tech very, very soon. And take a look at SePTiCDank's base. He is putting a couple of single missile turret up front. Just, I would say mostly if in case there is a DT rush into his natural expansion. Actually, he is doing a nice job of putting those supply depots out for spotting purposes to spot an incoming warp prism if that is the case for gas. Interesting. Looks like he did finally put down a couple of scans. He is seeing this 4 gas Ghost Academy time. So he is doing the proper response to 4 gases. More than likely he knows that High Templar is on the way. The Templar archives are being produced, but he doesn't know that about this 3rd nexus quite yet. I would actually like to see MadEoin still churn out those probes. Get those probes out one at a time at each of those nexi, and you will be a-okay. And SePTiCDank, nothing too crazy. He finally does have his add-ons onto his barracks, but no tier 2 units as of yet. He has double engineering breaks, so double ups are going to be coming down. And finally the factory is put down at around the 9-minute mark, so fairly late. No medevac play just yet, so medevacs are still, I would say, about a good 2 to 3 minutes to be in any kind of useful situation. In that time he'll probably produce 1, maybe. A couple of minutes after that he might put out a couple more with those reactor add-ons and a lot of gateways. 1, 2, 3 gateways over here. We got 7 gateways in total in the main base, and Archons are on the field of play. So I'm interested to see exactly what kind of play MadEoin is turning around. Oh Jesus, forgot factory. I feeling you are lying, sir, because I could see that is nearing completion. So got that new build smell of neglect. So yep, the starport is put down, and as soon as that reactor is finished, he's gonna go ahead and give those 2 unit producing structures the old switcheroo and start turning out those medevacs. He does put down an army, but no Ghost Academy just yet, so he's not too worried about those High Templar or Archons. And MadEoin is just fairly supply blocked at the moment. So yep, nothing too crazy as of yet. So it's been about 10 minutes, and only the scouting workers have been the scouting worker for MadEoin has been killed. So very slow game. Well, not so much in the natural expansion. It's enough SCVs, bro. While over here at the main base, not doing so well. And take a look at the income time, we actually see that the Protoss player MadEoin is way ahead, even though he does have the same amount of harvesters. And that just goes to show you what happens when you actually know what you're doing with your workers. Finally, that 4th refinery is up and running. Not sure exactly when he's going to go ahead and transfer over those SCVs to make full use of it, but to each their own. He's going to go ahead and enjoy it whenever he can. Looks like MadEoin is being especially turtley himself, putting down plenty of photon cannons to stop any sort of drop. I still have a feeling that the medevacs have squeaked by over here, and well, definitely up here too. So he's just putting a pylon down here behind his natural expansions. Behind that mineral, I'm probably going to put down a photon cannon here, just to secure that. And we see a floating factory. He's going to go ahead and scout off, see exactly what's going on. Finally going to spot that 3rd, but his own 3rd is going to be up and running in a few seconds. So finally SePTiCDank decides to finally push out, but it looks like no concussive shells as of yet. He does have stim pack, and combat shield is done, and looks like level 1-1 is already finished up, and 2-2 is going to be on the field in about a minute. While the upgrades for MadEoin are 1-1 attack and armor, but he is only producing out of that single. Actually, he finally has double forges up, while robotics facility is on the field, and 2 more gateways are being warped in. So putting down the mass observers as we see. So 3 observers. Day 9 would be proud. He loves him as his observers. Charge lots are already done. Blink not yet researched and not being researched at the moment. So we're not going to see any sort of blink play. Finally, SePTiCDank spots this. Not yet. He sees that warp in. He's going to push that factory forward a little bit, and he is finally going to spot that 3rd base. He's going to sit there and wonder exactly how long this has been operational, but no worries as of yet. Looking over, we see charge lots, a couple of stalkers, and 3 high Templar and a single Archon for the army of MadEoin, while robotics facility is being finished up, or robotics bay I should say is being finished up, and we're gonna start seeing that Colossus tech being put into play. Heavy supply blockage for MadEoin, so we're gonna put down those emergency pylons, while that single observer is gonna go ahead and scout around, make sure to see exactly what's going down. Finally spots the army of Dank, and just gonna go ahead and hang out with it for a while. And nothing too crazy as of yet. Weapons level 3 is already being churned out by Dank, and level 3 armor is not yet being done. Looks like there it is. He finally does get it done as soon as he had those gas to spare. 3 more gateways are being produced, and finally looks like the supply blockage is finally done. A fresh warp in finally puts MadEoin's supply cap in the lead. No blink as of yet. Gets done with a +2 attack. Looks like all that's left is really 3-3 armor and attack. They are both being researched and chrono boosted out. A single for box facility still not being made use of, not producing those colossi. Looks like finally SePTiCDank is gonna go ahead and take the middle of the map, and that's a cool looking symbol right over there. I actually have it on my forearm, so booyah. I think it's fantastic. I don't care what you guys think. Both players are still hanging out, sitting pretty at 3 bases. SePTiCDank is taking his 4th, while at the same time so is MadEoin. So both players are maxed out. Looks like the supply lead is even. The mineral do favor MadEoin as of right now, but I'm interested to see exactly who's gonna be who's gonna win in this situation. Dark Shrine is being put down. Finally, looks like Banshees are being gonna be produced in a second, since cloaking is being researched. Actually, that might be for the Ghost Academy. Yep. Finally, ghosts are going to be on the field to play. None being produced as of yet, and a couple of zealots are going to push forward and see exactly what they could spot. Charge. They do charge forward, starts nibbling away, slashing away, hacking away at those barracks. Catch a couple of Marines off guard. SePTiCDank does manage to stutter step and stem away. A few of them get taken down, but finally the army of Dank is there to clean up that zealot force. Not sure exactly what that was for, but it looked cool anyway. It looked cool on screen. Double robotics facilities finally, and double colossi are being churned out. Looks like those few zealots were actually being pushed forward, sacrificed to make room for the colossi. SePTiCDank just holding pretty at the middle of the map, taking that Zelnaga tower with that cool symbol. Did I mention that symbol already? It's pretty cool, I feel. Yep. Nothing else going on. These bunkers are still in play. The Zerber is still hanging out. Add-ons on all of these barracks, and it looks like it's Tech Lab, so going to be a Marauder heavy force or actually Ghost heavy force. But since both players are supply capped, I'm interested to see exactly when those are going to be used. A couple of scans do reveal the exact army coordinates of MadEoin's storms do go down, and SePTiCDank just charges into some huge damage being done, but MadEoin is still pulling back. Those snipes do go off, pick apart a couple of those zealots, but those storms did that huge amount of damage, pretty much taking all of the army of Dank down to the red, and those charge blocks did went in and finished the job. An EMP does take care of most of the shields of the Protoss forces, but the entire Terran force is eliminated. And taking a look at the units lost tab, we actually see about the resources are about even, but the units lost pretty much remain in the favor of the cheaper Terran forces. All these gateways are being put down into warp gates. Gravitic boosters for those obs are being produced, and 7 ghosts are being trained at the same time. Finally, Protoss level shielding level 1 is being researched small forest of Aeon is going to go ahead and bypass this orbital command and says, wait a minute, something seems fishy. Catches it, and that orbital command is going to get away. One volley, two volleys. Zealots are getting in the way. And the orbital command does manage to survive. And in a couple of seconds after that major battle, both players are again about supply capped. And Aeon is taking his sixth base. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth base while pushing forward into the territory of SePTiCDank. But he is fairly positioned in a fairly good spot. There is a nice scan, just going to go ahead and reveal absolutely nothing. A snipe does take care of half the shields of the Zealot, and that is enough to cause Aeon to say, what the fuck? No ways, that's straight hacks. I'm going to back off. I do not want to attack the sniping capabilities of the ghosts, and there are plenty of ghosts on the field of play. It looks like there is about 10 of them. The Vikings do push forward because they are going to try to pick off those Colossi, spot the Archon and say, nope, gotta go, head back home. While at the same time, SePTiCDank is going to go ahead and take his fifth base, and Dance of Death is being handled in the middle of the map with a couple of imaginary photon cannons. Looks like he found a better place for him. And he's going to go ahead and put down one and go home. So that cannon is going to do absolutely squat in case the forces of SePTiCDank decide to push forward. And both players are just trying to jockey position here, trying to take the center of the map and make sure to cover all avenues of non-attack. Planetary fortress being built. Planetary fortress being built along with pretty big battle happened, but I'm interested to see exactly how many warp gates he has. Plenty of warp gates. You now want to start attacking. Yeah, 4,000 minerals, 2,000 gas. A solid amount of warp gates just overwhelm the Terran forces about 20 minutes ago, is when I would say. Vikings do push forward, try to pick off a single Colossi. It does manage to survive with 2 HP, and man, I am a brilliant caster. Move over, Tastosis. I was right about that photon cannon. That means I am OP. Can't wait for Blizzard to nerf me. Vikings are just going to go ahead and push forward, try to snipe a single. They finally do manage to snipe a single Colossus, and that's what happens when you have no anti-air, Aeon. And both players are just going to go ahead and still continue that tug of war over this patch of land that is very lush and green with shrubbery. And finally, Aeon decides to retake this little hilltop because he likes those destructible rocks. The entire army is going to push forward in the spot of those Colossi. The storms finally do manage to take out most of SePTiCDank's entire army. And it looks like both players are just hanging out, having a feel for each other because really, not doing much else. A mass warp in, and finally, and again, both players are remaxed. I would actually like to see Blink be researched and Mass Stalkers being warped in to be able to blink forward and take care of these Vikings. But it looks like Blink is finally being researched, and that'll be on the field of play in about, I would say, a minute and a half. But it looks like the 6th base for Aeon is going to be taken. And in the income tab, we see about the same in the resources being harvested department, because the power of the OP mules actually favors everything and anything above all else. Shield level 2 is about done in about 20 seconds. It's going to be up and running for all the Protoss units, while the Terran forces do have 3/3 armor and attack, while there are +2 attack for the aerial units of SePTiCDank. More ghosts are being produced because that is exactly what you need, and 8 more gateways being put down. "33 warp gates." for Aeon. And apparently warp gates don't attack. They do not fight back, sir. What fight backs is the units that are produced out of those warp gates. And I'm having trouble believing these guys are actually masters and Terran players, because Master, ooh, a nice storm actually does go down. Damages most of these ghosts. They're all pretty much in the red, but SePTiCDank is going to have free reign of the 5th and 6th expansion with all of these little probies here for the picking. And looks like Aeon is just going to go ahead and hang out. Let him destroy that. I mean, no need to, you know, cut off the forces of SePTiCDank and then push forward and take care of everything else. Another Artosis pylon for Aeon. You know, I don't normally do this, but these guys are terrible. I'm not sure if SePTiCDank is just having fun, teasing me, or if they know each other and they're just, you know, joking around. But either way, these guys are pretty bad. And that's not to say I'm the greatest of all myself. I mean, like you guys know, I am Platinum, but this play is just has me scratching my head wondering how these guys do it. 2 more Colossi are being built. Level 3 shields have not been researched, but there's going to be another push forward. A couple of feedbacks on that single ghost takes it out, and the entire Protoss army is going to run away from 3 Marauders. Marauders say, oh shit, they finally figured out there's only 3 of us, and ran back to their friends. They're going to go ahead and finish off taking care of most of these units and hang out. And that's what happens when you don't pay attention and miss your force fields. Poor little Sentry. I had 7 kills on it. Damn. So now the income tab is all for nothing, since the only remaining bases for Aeon is this one right here. His 3rd is mined out, his natural is mined out, and so is his main base. Has a lot of probes though. Go ahead and put down another Nexus High here, Next High here, and a nice concave. All of these ghosts have been not revealed, since there aren't any observers left on the field of play, and they're all going to make mincemeat out of all the Protoss units. An EMP does take care of that Archon shield. They're going to push forward, try to take it out, but nope. Nope, 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 nope. Those Zealots do charge forward and get immediately vaporized by most of the Terran forces. The Colossi, final Colossi finally does go down, and Aeon is in a full-on retreat. Oh crap, I just crapped the bed. Oh, Lord. There's not much to say about these 2 players. Oh, finally SePTiCDank decides to push forward, catches most of these probes off guard, pretty much incinerates them. These Vikings are going to go ahead and spot the remaining forces of Aeon. They're going to push forward, going to try to snipe those Colossi. Mass EMPs take care of most of the shields on those Zealots, and the Protoss forces are forced to retreat. Well, SePTiCDank is just going to go ahead and hang out for a little bit before deciding to push forward and start clobbering away at that next side. A couple of DTs here are just in the mix. Finally, they start slicing away at the Terran forces that are destroying their home base, but not before. There it is, one more attack. It looks like he actually trying to focus fire on those ghosts. The Protoss forces finally do push forward, but mass EMPs take care of most, if not all, of the shields. Yet again, a nice storm does manage to catch a few of the Terran forces, but again, Aeon pulls back and mass warps in a lot more zealots. Nice little standoff again. Finally, the scans does reveal those Dark Templar. The ghosts are going to go ahead and push forward just a little bit. Another scan reveals nothing. He's just making sure there's no DTs or observers in the field of play, while those Colossi are still getting churned out by Aeon. So good for him on pummeling a dead horse that's not working. And again, Aeon is just going to go ahead and get sideswiped by this small squad of Marauders and a Marine, and he's just still very indecisive, not knowing what to do. That first photon cannon did such a great amount of damage, he decides to put down the second one at exactly the same spot. This single pylon, though, too late. This photon cannon actually went down in about the exact same way as his predecessor. Finally, the pylon is taken care of, and the single Dark Templar is going to do massive amounts of damage behind enemy lines. Those Psionic Storms did create a bunch of damage for the second squad of Terran units, but finally the main force of SePTiCDank is going to push forward and start pummeling away at the Terran forces. An EMP does take care of the shield of one Archon, brings it down. The second Archon does go down along with that Stalker. Now all that stands in the way is nothing, since that photon cannon was destroyed, and the small squad of Protoss forces are just going to go ahead and hang out. This High Templar is going to go down, and finally SePTiCDank decides to push forward. The food supply is in the lead of SePTiCDank, but another warp-in will prove useless, actually, since the Protoss player is finally broke. This medevac is hanging out, so I wanted to click on this next side. It finally does manage to go down, and Aeon is pretty much between a rock and a hard place. He doesn't have any more minerals. He doesn't have any more gas. I really hope, I really pray that these guys are just messing with each other. Because according to the replay information, SePTiCDank, like I said before, is a Masters. And Aeon is a Diamonds level player. And the skills of these two players is very, I wouldn't say the skills is lacking, I would just say the decision making is lacking. But that's just me. What do I know, right? Finally, SePTiC is going to go ahead and push forward. Again, taking care of this little central lushy area, since he just likes to go for long walks next to, looks like sewage systems. Good for him. SePTiCDank is going to push forward. Make sure all the sewage systems are up and running. He decides to stim for no apparent reason. Finally finds another base of Aeon, pushes forward, takes care of all three photon cannons in about a single volley and a half. Going to go ahead and take out this Nexus very quickly, and probably more than likely going to pull back and patrol this little lushy grassy area yet again, because why not? It's a very important piece of land. You got to think about resale. This is just what you got to do. And Aeon is also thinking about resale, since he can't decide on where to go and where to stay home and what to sell. But Aeon is going to go ahead and say, I'm going to go ahead and hang out in the top area. A few more scans reveal the entire forces of the Protoss player, while he's going to go ahead and push forward with his ghosts yet again. Still, with all of these ghosts, I would imagine a nuke would have gone down. Nope, no nuke. The Observer is taken care of. The EMP does take care of all the shields on the single Archon, and again, all these ghosts are pushing forward. Finally, Aeon decides to say, hey, all you guys with ghosts in the area, we'll go ahead and kill you, since they weren't cloaked. And looks like Aeon doesn't want to attack, because Terran is OP. Again, a little ring around the rosy in the middle area, and You know, I figured it out. Both these players are allergic to damage. It makes them feel icky, gross, a bit sad even, which is why they are not engaging. That must be it. Finally figured it out. I know exactly why both players are doing this, but it looks like Dark Templar will actually take care of this expansion, and that expansion as well. So good for Aeon to being proactive on the attack and on the offensive. And go ahead and put down $5 as soon as MadEoin sees that attack, he's gonna back off. That was a fool's bet anyway. Finally decides to charge forward, but SePTiCDank pulls back. Aeon has decided to run away yet again, taking enough damage to fill 3 games worth. Single zealot charges forward, and that causes Aeon to back off and retreat. This causes Aeon to push forward and attack, and it's a nice little sandwich maneuver. Finally a nice wraparound and massive amounts of storms, does massive amounts of damage. SePTiCDank realized he was taking damage and decided to retreat. MadEoin is pulling back, not wanting to take any sort of losses. I'm actually surprised SePTiCDank decided not to pull back from that zealot. Pushes forward, is going to go into 45-minute concussion cell. Actually looks like this game is going to wind down to a close anytime soon, since it looks like SePTiCDank managed to not lose. That's all I can say. Scan does reveal those 2 Dark Templars. They're taken out fairly quickly. Finally, the forces of Aeon pull. A couple of medevacs get caught out of position, get taken down very easily. Nice stem forward, and a nice psionic storm does take care of most of them. Mass EMPs drain the entire shields of all the Protoss units. But still, those Protoss forces are going to go ahead and power through it. Go ahead and be strong, and totally wipe out the opposing forces. So let that be a lesson to you, Aeon. If you attack, your enemy might die. But now it's too little too late. You have, I do not believe you even have any more probes. You have 25 probes hanging around somewhere. There they are. Gonna start remining. Finally decides to push forward with those small amount of forces you do have left. This observer is actually finally does get recloaked. And gonna start nibbling away at the barracks. And after all of that dancing, all of that poking, all of that prodding, it looks like it was going to come down to a base race. Since both are just gonna go ahead and go for their bases of each other. But the bad thing about base racing with a Terran player, they can fly. Well, their buildings can fly anyway. So scan reveals where the forces are. Who needs Archons, alright? Holy mule. An assimilator is being built, and yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start with my advertising. This game is brought to you by Tylenol, because that is what you'll need to eat to stand watching this game. Also by Folgers, because you're gonna need that in your cup. You might fall asleep if you watch this entire thing. That was it. I'm gonna get on out of here. Later, guys.